There we go. And bam. Music pose. Alrighty. Wax Knuckles. Actually, Wax Knuckles actually worked, huh? There we go. Ooh, that was nice. Parents always say you never crack knuckles, but they can't stop me. I'm a grown man. Okay. So, we skipped, as I said before, we skipped a lot of streams last week, including our Trial Tuesday. Our usual Trial Tuesday. So we're back with some more Tyrion Cuthbert this week. And now I have to remember what the fuck I was doing. Let's see. Hold on, quick review. Let me use. Okay, let's use this. Alright. This is our defendant. He is accused of killing Catherine Bellwether, who was a professor that no one likes. It was Ilmatter, who I suspect is not actually a student, but is pretending to be a student and is fooling everyone. And because she was shown in the first case in a dream to Tyrion Cuthbert. This is the headmaster. He right now is my #1 suspect. They proved the fact that it's possible that she was alive for a little bit of time. They proved that one of these two, I forgot which one it is. I think it's Valerina. You here for Loring? Well, welcome on in. It's a Callie. It's time for some. We gotta put our thinking caps on. I put my thinking caps on yesterday. I put my thinking caps on again today. Oh boy. Hope you had a good day. Let's see. I think it was Valerie. I think it was Valerie can use magic, and then she used healing ward or whatever it was. Mend wounds. She used. I'm thinking D&D. She used mend wounds on her to try and heal her, just why the wounds cleared up, and there was no sign of any damage. But it looked like she was actually really stabbed with a sword, right? Which made it look like he could maybe not have been the killer, possibly. And then they're like, oh, but then this guy saw her moving before to the room, you know, a certain period of time before the mend wounds happened, which means that she had been dead when she was moving to where she was found the crime scene. Thanks today for studying. I hope you had a good day too. Actually, I had a very relaxing day. I mean, I worked. I have short work shifts. I worked. I came back with my roommate, and then I took a very. I think it wasn't that good of a nap, but it was a decent nap. It was a decent nap, I'd say. It wasn't the worst nap I had. And now I'm here. Okay, I got it. He thought he saw her, and then which is now everyone thinks she's making the assumption, the prosecutor, that she was actually dead because he cast animate corpse on her, is what they're saying. They think that she had animate corpse on her to be used to make him see her, and then she walked over to the crime scene, quote unquote, where she was found, and then, you know, just dropped, quote unquote, dead. Now, I do remember, even though I don't have that good memory of everything that happened last time, I do have good memory of one specific thing, and that is, I think I already know how this happened. I think she was already dead in the room, because the crime scene apartment she was found was a classroom that was empty because of the fact that this thing was dropped in there, which means that no one was gone into the lecture hall, because of the fact that it has a really bad smell in there. So he's the only one who could have caused that, which is the first time I heard about that. I was like, oh, he's got to be the guilty one, right? Because this has to be relevant somehow, right? So he has to be the guilty one because he did that, so the crime scene can be empty, so that she can, when she goes in there, so that he can kill her and keep her there. Now, what happens is, I'm not sure how he disposed of it afterwards. Is what he does is that they make a big point in the fact that these arcane constructs are made and being operated by her, in a sense, or like made to be made by her. And the most important thing is that these voice lines can only the employee of the academy using the voice of the victim herself, right? All right. So the voices can be changed or adjusted by the academy headmaster. Okay. So, she probably, we don't know how long she's been dead for, if we even met the real victim yet. But my thought process is that he used, because he's an illusion master, illusion specialty, used illusionary disguise on an arcane construct, made it look like her, so that she would walk into the lecture, look and go through to the lecture hall, and gave it like very specific instructions. Which, if you were here yesterday for Case of the Opeton, Rise of the Opeton, whichever one it was, they did a specific thing in there too, where they gave instructions to robots to do very specific movements. And when we were playing that yesterday, it reminded me of this a little bit, and I was like, oh shit, now I remember what we were doing here. He gave it specific instructions that it would go and make an alibi, or more likely incriminate him by look like this person was walking while dead into the room, but the truth was that she was already dead in the room at that point. So basically he used, this is my theory, he, the true perpetrator, killed her with a sword, used this thing disguised as her to pass by him to make it look like that she was still alive, or that she was a living dead, as the case title is called, incriminating him because he's the only person who supposedly knows the spell animate corpse, and everything else fell into place. All right. Excuse my coughing. Whew. That was a lot. All right, Tyrion, what are we doing here? I'm not sure. Wait, is that Eris? Well, we found her. We should probably talk to her later. Oh, that's right. And then they went to go find Eris because they think that she's suspicious a little bit, because she says, as a mercenary, she gives me the heebie-jeebies in terms of what aura she gives off. I don't use aura. I don't use that word in most contexts nowadays. Yeah, vibes, we'll say. It'd be rude to disturb her now. Oh, hello there. Were you two looking for me? Sorry, we were looking for you, but we understand if you'd rather talk later. No, I was just finishing up here. Do you have something you wanted to talk to me about? Well, I wanted to ask you some questions about the case. Oh? I got everything here. Arcanum. Nothing. That was my first time watching a court trial. You were truly remarkable. Thank you. Were you in the gallery? I've always enjoyed watching physical battles in the theater, but I see now that battles of wits can be just as entertaining to watch. Entertaining? Yeah, I know what you mean. You see, the odds are stacked against him. The odds are ever against his favor. Whatever the line is from Hunger Games. But then he suddenly pulls out this crazy deduction and steers the trial in his favor. You can say I'm somewhat of a, there's that camera. And once I get a model, I can actually do that. There's that camera. Ace attorney. Haha. But I'm sure it's far more entertaining to be the one making the deductions. I'm not really sure what you mean. I practice law so I can help those persecuted by the system. I don't really do it to entertain myself. But is that really true? What the fuck? Don't you find experience? Alright, just need to fire that cross. Time to get some garlic. Time to get some holy water. Should have crossed his gird, got a wooden stake. Because you are giving me the heebie-jeebies. Don't you find the experience even the least bit entertaining, Tyrion? Jesus Christ. I wouldn't really put it that way. You're far too modest. You save people from the clutches of death. To your clients, you might as well be a knight in shining armor. Earlier you said that you were studying illusion magic. I am. Did you want to ask me about the prosecution's theory? Yes, actually. How did you know? It was easy to guess after seeing you in the courthouse. Anyways, disguising an undead with an illusion is definitely possible. And as Lady Seowen said, illusory disguise would be the best spell to use for that. What if someone created a freestanding illusion? A freestanding illusion? Yeah. We know that Wallace did animate and disguise the professor's corpse. Excuse me. So, what if the illusion wasn't disguising anything? Maybe someone created a freestanding illusion of Bellwether walking around. Oh, see, now he's saying the same thing that I've been thinking. For something like that, one would probably use Major Illusion. Oh, this is a whole entire new spell. Okay, illusion is purely visual, can't be physically touched. Okay, so saving as my illusion cannot be interacted with, but it can be touched if it's around something that is physical. What is it? I don't think major illusion is what we're looking for. Do you remember what Jan said? The bellwether that Jan saw was a major illusion that she couldn't have knocked over that base. It's because she was a fucking... Okay, it's okay. It's okay. They haven't reached they haven't gotten to the point where I've gotten to. Illusions created by that spell don't have any mass. I see. How perceptive of you. Are there any other illusion spells that do have mass? No. Illusions can only recreate visual and auditory sensations. But there isn't a single illusion spell that someone can touch. I do have to admit, the one faulty thing about this plan is that the headmaster would have to rely on the fact that the janitor wouldn't look close enough to realize that there's illusion being cast. That means someone disguised something to make it look like Bellwether. Why the look of suspicion, Celeste? Sorry, I wasn't... Calm down, I'm only joking. I don't blame you for considering even every possibility. In fact, I'm flattered you think I'm capable of pulling off such an elaborate ruse. You are capable of pulling off a lot, lady, I can tell. Anyways, this does tell us one important thing. What is that? The bellwether that Jan saw had a physical mass to it. It wasn't a freestanding illusion. It was someone or something disguised as Bellwether. These guys are gonna have to play keep up with me when I'm doing all this. It's quite a shame, isn't it? Sorry for interrupting you. Was she someone you knew? Not personally. I'm actually here on Wallace's behalf. Wallace knew her? Wallace joined the Academy as part of a program run by Headmaster Redmond. At the time, the Headmaster was reaching out to mages among the common folk. He had started a program to admit these mages to the Academy without having to pay tuition. Both Emily and Wallace were among the mages. Wow, that must have been an amazing opportunity for them. The truth is, neither of them actually cared about learning magic. The real problem was that Emily had a terminal illness. She and Wallace were poor orphans. Ah, yes, the poor orphans. Like a Charles Dickens novel. And obviously didn't have the resources to treat it. But if they enrolled in the Academy would be obligated to give her medical treatment. The Imperial Academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. They thought that curing her illness would be an easy task for the Academy's healers. And they were incorrect, unfortunately. But they were mistaken, I'm afraid. I'm sure you know this by now, but healing spells only treat wounds. They can't cure illnesses. Emily's condition only grew worse over the years, and eventually, she succumbed to her illness. Wallace was furious. He didn't understand why the kingdom was outlawing magic that could save lives. And that's why he decided to learn it himself. Yes, the headmaster was inspired by Wallace's resolve. He gave him access to the Academy's forbidden tomes of necromancy. And Wallace taught himself the spells that he knows today. So that's why it was supposed to stay a secret between him and the headmaster. I'll show you now how that turned out. Oh! Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared. Okay. Oh, it's you, Mr. Cuthbert. Dearwood, what are you doing here? After what happened in the trial yesterday, I decided it'd be best to start my investigation here. Actually, since I have you here, have you seen Iris Ilmatter anywhere? Despite understanding that you're both acquainted with each other. Why is my nose so stuffy again? Hold on. Give me 1 sec. I may have gotten myself sick. Oh boy. Oh brother. We'll see how this goes. But I'm gonna be stuffy for the rest of the stream, I think. But I ain't stopping the stream. Okay. Eris, what do you want with her? It's not for anything serious, mind you. It's just that an oath of a commander lost her spell compendium. I needed to produce another one for our records. If you see her, please let her know that we'd like to speak to her. We saw her earlier in the cemetery nearby, but I have no idea where she is now. Once again, I have to compensate for that idiot's mistakes. Anyways, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Very well, I suppose I'll still need to honor our deal from earlier. Yippee! We've been in here before, right? Not a reader, huh? I like the fact, once again, that our prosecutor is actually not a fucking asshole. Okay, got everything. Scaled Lauren with Thalian. Oh, that's important. Hahaha. Headmaster Raymond's the only person allowed to the voices. Well, faculty members partook in these pranks. That's funny because everyone hated the victim.
Repario Arcanum.
Nothing. Nothing. You give me the tool to look for magic, and then you don't let me see magic except for, like, 2 places. Have you any luck finding the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, I haven't. From the witnesses' testimonies, we have a rough idea of the route Bellwether took. But none of the route is route. It's Route 1. You drive on Route 1. But take this route. I think it's route. I don't know. There's two different pronunciations, I think, for it. Maybe I'm just wrong. None of the runes you chat have any sign of a struggle. Why are you sure that a struggle happened? I'm mainly basing it off the fact that the Lannisters' testimonies. Valerie, in particular, noticed the bleeding came from the wound in her stomach. Regrettably, the body's wounds were mended, so we can't determine what kind of weapon the murderer used. Okay. During the trial, you mentioned that another witness saw Bellwether walking around yesterday. That's right! Would you be so willing to tell us who that person is? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that. Oh. Oh. No. I was gonna say it's our teacher, but then I remembered that there was a person who stabbed. Oh, there was that student that taught her, the prosecutor. I forgot about her because she hasn't been like shown up to like to us. We haven't seen her personally. That taught her be like, "Oh, I want my sword back," and she's like, "No, that sword's evidence." Oh fuck! I forgot about that. You've been pretty transparent with the investigation so far. What's changed? I have no obligation to justify myself to you, nor do I have any obligation to help the opposition. Didn't we have a deal? Hiding information doesn't exactly seem fair to us. I believe I've given you plenty of information already. Fair! So regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. Something about this witness's family that you're worried about? I'm sorry, but you'll have to try harder than that if you want to bluff me. There's a locker room here? Bro, this is supposed to be like ancient times. What is the locker room? Well, I've already seen stuff that makes it not look like ancient times. Alright, never mind. When I understand, Miss Dion has already moved the investigation elsewhere. How long must I wait before I can retrieve my things? Sorry, old timer, orders are orders. Nothing comes in or out till this case is over and done with. Commander White and Handmaster too? Oh, hello, Mr. Cuthbert. Hey, kid. In any case, there are other matters I must attend to. Please inform me when I can locate my things. Sure. Is he here just to guard something? What was the headmaster talking to you about? Supposedly he has some items stored in one of the faculty lockers. Problem is, Dion said no one gets in or out of this room. Except for her and you two, apparently. She won't even let the other knights in here. Really? Is that normal? That means she trusts us! Let's go! Nope, but things really are when she's calling the shots. I don't know what her deal is, but she's been acting strange lately. She's been real paranoid, that girl. Frankly, I can't tell what's going through her head. You mentioned that the prosecutor had been paranoid lately. Do you think it has something to do with this case? Nah, it started way before that. Lately, she's been using the Inquisition to investigate a lot of non-magical homicides. What? Wouldn't it be easier to work with the relevant law enforcement for that? I don't know why, but she's convinced that these cases have magic involved. But we scanned each and every one of those crime scenes. Nothing turned up. I got to say though, if it weren't for the scans, I might actually agree with her. Why do you say that? Those homicides, I've never seen anything like them. They're probably some of the most screwed up cases I've ever handled. For one of those cases, we had ourselves a disgruntled spouse. She found out that her man was going around with a barkeep. You know what the spouse does? She stalks the poor woman. Uh-oh. She starts leaving threatening notes all around where she worked. The barkeep told the city watch about what was happening, but no matter how much they staked out the tavern, they could never catch the perp. Then one day, the barkeep arrived home. Little did she know the spouse was waiting there for her. The poor lady never had a chance. And to tie the whole thing together, the spouse waits for her husband to get home. She cooks him a big roast. Oh no, 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 no! Using the barkeep's remains. No! Wow, that story is pretty gnarly. I know. Steelwind thinks someone's developed a new type of magic that can control people's minds. And these homicides were some kind of sick test run. She has been. Last time we played, she kind of like made people like not see something, or she talked and then she said something different. So it's not illusion, it's mind control. Wait a second. I could have sworn it said that her age was 20. Hold up. I'm gonna check the VOD for this. I'm pretty fucking sure when we were talking to her before, it said her age was 20. Or maybe it was me talking. Huh. Wouldn't Mage Blight makes more sense? Mage Blight. When a mage overuses their magic, it can have pretty bad consequences on their mind. They temporarily lose grip of reality and they begin seeing things that aren't there. When a mage becomes like that, it almost never ends well. They enter, it's like being tempered. They enter a frenzy and begin firing spells randomly, which only makes it worse. I've seen my fair share of mage blight cases, and this ain't it. This isn't like that. Not all the perps were mages, and the ones that were didn't even use their magic. One thing was that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up after we arrested them. All of them said things like, "It wasn't me," or "I didn't have a choice." They didn't have a choice? What could that mean? I doubt it means anything. I doubt it means anything. Sometimes people can't face the things they've done. It's easier to say that you had no control than to take responsibility. Yeah, but we're in an attorney game. During the trial, Miss Steelwind mentioned that something other than Jen Hughes saw Bellwether walking around. Have you seen them around lately? We wanted to speak with them. No. Ha! Nice try, kid. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't think anyone other than Steelwind knows who the witness is. I sure as hell don't. Oh. She's hiding it from him because she knows it's possible he might slip up and tell us. Clever girl. This isn't getting us anywhere. Steelwood's behavior is strange, though. Okay, Steelwood's behavior has been strange this time around. She's hiding elements of the case even from the commander. Anyone can tell that she doesn't have much faith in them. I'm standing right here. It's okay. We wanted you to hear that. But this is the first time I've seen her hide key details of a case from him. There has to be a reason why she's being so secretive. Her actions must be driven by paranoia. She's been hoarding information about the case. There's only one reason why she wouldn't utilize the Inquisition like she usually does. It's because she doesn't trust them. I hate to say it, but that doesn't really surprise me. She's always been standoffish with us. But there is one exception. There are individuals who she's trusted more than the Inquisition during this case. Us? She let us investigate the crime scenes without any restrictions. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Does she trust us that much? I don't think personally trust is the reason. We don't usually interact with her, and she's worked with the Inquisition on plenty of cases that we weren't even involved in. Steelwind doesn't know much about us, but she does know that we aren't prone to noble corruption. Right, you indicted a noble during the last case. Meanwhile, the Inquisition usually bends to the nobility's whims. Well, I can't argue with you there. Due to my insight, I can tell she's worried about the witness's family. And if she's worried about the corruption from the nobility, that can only mean one thing. The witness has to belong to a noble family. That's why she's so worried of interference. But we're obviously not going to do anything corrupt. Why is she hiding the witness's identity from us? I think she's worried about our safety. Yeah, I guess harassing a noble could put you in danger. But I'm the protege of an infamous Ruby Taimora. Yeah, it's not as if we aren't already on the nobility's bad side. I'm sure the Pierce family still has it out for us. This could only mean that the family we're dealing with is even more powerful than House Pierce. The prosecutors worry of them, they could even be as powerful as the Steel Winds. Wait, don't tell me you think you were dealing with one of the Four Pillars. Four Pillars? It's a name people use for the top four noble houses. These families stand at the top of the kingdom's aristocracy. If I recall correctly, the four pillars are House Frega, House Fonsantis, House Sybil, and House Steelwind. Well, it sure is not House Steelwind. So that leaves three options. Steelwind is a part of one of them? Yeah, which makes it so much weirder that she's serving as a prosecutor. What is it? Steelwind's weird behavior all started after she investigated this room. We're at the crime scene and she left to follow a lead, but an hour later she came back to the lecture hall and booted everyone out. Her behavior changed after investigating this room. That means she found something here, and that something must point to her family from the Four Pillars. And the headmaster, and she didn't want the headmaster to get access to it, so obviously she thinks he might be corrupted on it. You know, Steelwind's orders say I can't snoop around here, but you two, on the other hand, don't worry, just leave it to us. I have some school records that say which locker belongs to which student. You use it to tell whose locker you're looking at. Oh, there's Arcane construct in the back here. It's probably here to aid the students. Anyways, I don't think it's relevant to our investigation. Huh. Well, we have Wallace Microwave, so we probably need that, though. One of these two. I'm guessing her, because I remember the person that was talking to Steelwind was a girl, I think. And I'm making an assumption that's a girl's name. Wait a minute. These notebooks all have Wallace's name on them. These are Wallace's notebooks. But why are they in Miriam Frigga's locker? Did Miriam steal his things? Wait a minute. Tyrion, take a look at this. That's blood. Huh, I didn't expect Wallace to use stuff like this. There's nothing but lotion in here. Oh. I wonder why a student would need this much lotion. Put the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again. Wait, Tyrion, don't touch those with your hands. There's some kind of sanitizing liquid. A little strange, but doesn't seem to be related to the case. Oh, it's like those cards that fortune tellers use. I wonder if the student studies divination magic. But anyways, I don't think this is related to the case. We found a few things. I can't really make sense of any of it. We should look at this from the prosecutor's perspective. Steelwind found something in one of the lockers. And whatever it was, it made her extremely paranoid. No matter how we look at it, we found some insanely suspicious things in Frigga's locker. They had Wallace's notebooks and even some blood. But that blood is certainly strange. It implies that something bloody was stirred there. I wonder. They made it. They talked about inside. You find a bottle of fragrant liquid and something that looks like a makeup kit. I think the names on the lockers were switched, and I think I still think the headmaster did this. I don't think it's a noble. I think because there's no I'll say there's no reason for just a student to kill, the teacher, but everyone hated the teacher. So, I think, though, this is a long shot now. The headmaster switched the lockers and then put his stuff in Wallace's stuff. So Wallace's stuff is in the area that's supposed to be. And then he put the bloody stuff in Wallace's thing. And then switch the names just in case to make it look like that Frigga person did it. And then when he was gonna go to the locker room, he was gonna get stuff out of Frigga's Wallace's locker to make it look empty, to make it look like she took all the stuff from his locker and put it in hers. Yeah. Because if you're a smart-ass headmaster, why would you not, and you know that the prosecutor necessarily doesn't play nice with the nobles even though she's a noble herself, the best way to throw her off your tail, just in case, would be that if Wallace doesn't go to jail, to make the Frigga person go to jail instead, and still throw them off your tail. Yeah. You think someone stole it? No, actually, I think it was Steelwood who took it. Oh, right. Laura mentioned she investigated this room. She must have taken the bloody item as evidence. So the sword? But with that said, there's something else that's strange about Miriam Frigga's locker. It had a lot of Wallace's possessions. It's possible that she really did steal those items from him. But it's more likely that this locker isn't actually hers. There we go! Wow, I said all that shit. Remember what Wallace told us before? I forgot that this was mentioned earlier. I forgot that was mentioned. I legitimately forgot that was mentioned, but I guess that works out. So someone switched the nameplate? This means that this isn't Miriam Frigga's locker, it's Wallace's. But that would mean that a bloody object came from Wallace's locker. It appears so. But if that's true, why didn't Steven present the bloody item during the trial? I proved that Bellwether was wounded before Valerie healed her. Wouldn't that have made the perfect time to present what she found? It was a bloody item found in the defendant's locker after all. She could have easily proved the nameplate was switched too. Right, that is weird. I think we'll just have to ask Steven ourselves. Oh, you're back. We've uncovered a few things during our investigation. Miss Steelwind, are you acquainted with a student named Miriam Frigga? You're goddamn right you underestimated me. I'm the goddamn ace attorney of the Arcane. I said it before, Mr. Cuthbert. I won't fall for such an obvious bluff. It's not a bluff, Miss Steelwind. and I'll prove it using the evidence we've gathered together. Alright, let's argue. Okay. You've been behaving strangely, Steelwind. Even the Knights of the Inquisition have noticed. Please just tell me, why are you being so paranoid? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. I've approached this case objectively, just like I have with every other case. You've ordered the Knights to stay away from the crime scene. And you've even taken it upon yourself to conduct the investigation yourself. That is not normal behavior for a prosecutor. I took those actions because the Inquisition is incompetent. How could I possibly trust them with anything? The Knights are incompetent, but even you can see the value of delegation. During Celeste's case, you still delegated tasks to the Inquisition, and you could have easily investigated them in Koi Tavern yourself. This academy is huge. You wouldn't conduct your investigation this way unless you had a good reason. Then why don't you enlighten me? What would cause me to behave so strangely? Oh. Uh-oh. You know, the Inquisition is corrupt and will bend to the nobility. So what would happen if a powerful noble were publicly involved in the case? With that noble's influence, they'd probably order the Inquisition to conceal their involvement. A high-profile noble is involved in this case, Steelwind, and I believe that noble is Miriam Frega. Again with this, do you think you can bluff me by throwing out the names of random nobles? Not every noble is a malevolent criminal like Garrett Pierce. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nothing about this case has anything to do with House Frega. Then how do you explain this, Steelwind? Commander told us that you were following a lead in the locker room yesterday. We investigated the lockers of students from the Four Pillar families, and we found stains of blood in a locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number, and it was presumably left by a bloody object. The bloody object was taken by someone, and we heard that you became extremely paranoid after you found something in the locker room. If I had to guess, I'd say you took the bloody object as evidence. What evidence do you have to support these outrageous claims? What? The only thing you have is evidence of a bloodstain. There's a myriad of explanations for that. Everything else you mention is pure speculation. Could have found a number of things in that room, or possibly nothing at all. You found an object in the locker with Miriam Frigga's nameplate on it. If you don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. That's ridiculous. We both know that the locker in question belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Can you unequivocally prove that, Miss Steelwind? Because the way I see it, there's a lot of room for doubt there. Enough doubt for me to pull Miss Frigga onto the witness stand. But if I had more context, maybe I wouldn't have to resort to that. Whew, I didn't want to have to threaten you, but... Beep. Well played, Mr. Cuthbert. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? Alright, let's talk. Just so we're clear, I wasn't acting to protect the nobility, but I admit that Miriam Frigga was the other witness that saw Bellwether that day. I see, I have some suspicions, but there's also another matter. When I was investigating the body, I found this. What the? Looks like Miriam's been cheating at school. Why will they have something like this? From the way it's arranged, I think it might have been blackmail. Miriam Vega is considered a prodigy in the practice of conjuration magic. She's won a litany of awards, and she will most definitely graduate with honors. If these files were to reach the public, it would absolutely ruin her reputation. Which would give not only her a motive, but would give the headmaster a motive. Because one, it gets rid of, if those documents come out, but if those documents don't come out, and then he backs her and is like, I did this for you to kill her for you, you know, then him and his school are set. On the flip side, also, if they do come out, if these blackmail notes have things about people being blackmailed by school officials, that would give the victim enough, if she was still alive, enough ammo to be like, all right, guys, you know, we're gonna make it so that there's no faculty. It's all just fucking arcane constructs running the whole entire school, you know. And the headmaster didn't want that. So it would be in his best interest if she were to disappear. Do you think the professor was trying to threaten her? It appears so. When I discovered this, several elements of the case were still unknown. I decided to look through her belongings, and I mistakenly looked through the locker with her ID. I found this in that locker. Ah, there you go, that's the murder weapon. It's very likely that this is the murder weapon. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom for House Frega, and a few weeks ago Miriam reported the rapier was stolen from her room, and then it was found in Wallace's locker. Not that I'm complaining, but why didn't you present this in court? To be honest, I like to avoid involving House Frega by any means necessary. I knew it, you're just protecting her, aren't you? Miss McCoy, do you recall how Ravengard's justice system works? To acquit a defendant, you need to unequivocally prove that they didn't commit the crime. To do that, they either need a solid alibi, or we need to prove that someone else committed the crime. What do you suppose will happen if you bring Miriam Frega onto the stand? House Frega won't allow one of its members to be indicted in a court of law. They'll plant and forge evidence to implicate your defendant, and they use the Inquisition to do so. So that's why you've been keeping them away from the investigation. He's been trying to play the fairest game of courtroom chess with us to make sure that there's no tampering. All that effort just to have a fair trial. That's called a good prosecutor right there. Can't you do anything? The steel winds are powerful too, aren't they? I don't have the support of my house. Right now, I'm just a prosecutor, nothing more. Steelwind, you know this isn't fair for us. Let's do nothing. Do nothing and let us win. Now that's not fair either. Celeste, if you can't go after Miriam, then you could at least help us save Wallace. I'm not going to do that. Why? What if Miriam Frega is the real killer? Her sword is the murder weapon, and Bellwether was trying to blackmail her. I seem to recall another case where an innocent person's sword was used to frame them. As a prosecutor, it is not my place to decide who's guilty and who's not. No, but you do hold a hand in deciding it. We all do. That's how the courtroom works. I won't engage in corruption, even if it's to counter corruption from another noble house. I'm sorry. Do you know where Miriam is right now? Did you hear what I just said? You can't let her think that there's even a slightest possibility you'll indict her. She'll bring the entire wrath of House Frega down on you. Regardless, I can't do anything for Wallace unless I know everything that happened. Frega has the last piece I need to put everything together. Well, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? The dormitory is room 107. Imagine she'll be there considering that classes are suspended. Thank you, Steelwind. I don't tell you. I'm sure you'll probably just find it out using some other means. But please, Mr. Cuthbert, be careful. Gee, what the fuck is this room? Interesting. Excuse me. How dare you barge into my room? Oh boy. Oh, she's an elitist. Sorry. I meant to knock, but instruct, remove these hoodlums from my room. Acknowledged. Oh, Celeste. I forgot because Celeste is the fucking G. Construct, stand down. Acknowledged. I'm terribly sorry for that. I wasn't aware that this was your servant. I haven't noticed you around campus. Are you a student? Oh my god. Oh, she's a fucking sleaze already. Trying to get in good favors already. What? Yes, my master just enrolled here recently. What? Yes, I just started here. I take it you are Miriam Frigga? Yes, I'm honored that you recognize me. God. She's like a fucking tool. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss. I'm Celeste. Celeste McSteelwind. I'm Celeste Steelwind. Steelwind? It's a pleasure to meet another member of such an esteemed house. Oh my god. She's an idiot. Let's go! I just moved in, and I thought should introduce myself, seeing as you're a top student in the field of conjuration. Conjuration. Yes. Miss Frigga, I was wondering if we can ask you some questions about... She's gonna be like, don't talk to me, you fucking servant! Excuse me, I don't believe anyone has permitted you to speak. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, we heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I can't believe it. Yes, it's quite tragic what happened to her. She's always been an acquaintance of House Frigga. What? Really? We heard that you saw her on the day of the murder. Can you tell us more about what happened? Oh, you heard about that from your relative, did you? You don't mind me asking, why are you so interested? Oh, you know, I'm just curious is all. You know how uneventful life can be sometimes. Being a noble and all. Oh, is that all? I was worried you were going down the same path as that poor, confused Arya. But I'm in the middle of a study break anyways. I suppose I have some time to sate your curiosity. Construct, please prepare us some tea. Use that lotus tea we imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. Yippee! Doesn't she like lotus juice? Isn't that a whole entire thing? I forgot. It was like, didn't she like that wine? Acknowledged. Lotus tea? You have lotus juice? I heard that you saw the professor on the day of the murder. Where did this happen? I was in the hallways when I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. She was heading towards the library. Do you remember what time this happened? I'm not really sure, honestly. It's a little embarrassing, but I have a bad habit of getting too absorbed in my work. Sometimes I'll let entire hours pass by without noticing. Do you have a rough idea, at least? I think I was in the morning. What? But anyways, did anything seem off about her? No, it was a short encounter. I merely greeted her, and she responded in kind. Were you and the professor really on good terms? I heard she was pretty mean towards the other students. Towards the riffraff, maybe, but not to students like us. That's right! She liked the elites. I forgot about that. She was a great ally to House Frigga. That's why we were planning on appointing her as the new headmaster. Wait, what did you just say? You just said that your family was going to appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster? Okay. That really does make the headmaster look guilty. Because if the headmaster did it, if he knew about this, he would have been like, you're dead. You're framed for her death, possibly. and then you start going after necromancy. And then I clear all 3 birds with 1 stone. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know. House Frigga holds several seats on the Academy's board. We are making plans to have her replace that lout, Redmond. Did Headmaster Redmond know about this? Oh, of course not. This was a part of a large-scale plan. Along with Redmond, we were also going to replace all the staff members with arcane constructs. Well, we knew about that. We had to keep everything under wraps, or else the help would have left prematurely. And where would that leave us? Interesting. But alas, with Bellwether gone, we have to delay our plans. So, we heard that Arya took your rapier as evidence for the case. Can you believe her? She still won't give it back to me. My father will have my head if I can't get it back soon. How did it even become part of the investigation anyways? I don't know. Arya won't tell me anything. I swear, if that necromancer was the one who stole it, I'll execute him myself. So someone did steal it from you. Yes, right out of my room. When did this happen? About a few weeks ago. I noticed when I came back from one of my classes. Someone removed the rapier from a display case in my room. How did they get into your room in the first place? You think someone used magic to teleport past the door? Please, I'm a master of conjuration magic. If someone attempted that, my enchantments would have shutted them out. This means the thief came through one of the door's windows. I bet it was that necromancer. I'm sure a street child like him just knows how to pick a lock. I thought that you were one of the Academy's top students. Your grades must be amazing. Fuck, one thing. Of course, as an inheritor of House Frigga, my grades are impeccable. Oh, what kind of magic do you study here? You must be joking. I study magic from the School of Conjuration, just like most members of my house. The School of Conjuration. That's the type of magic that specializes in spatial manipulation and teleportation, right? Yes, I consider myself quite the expert in that field. Why, the Crown Prince himself has asked for my assistance in a research study. Interesting. You said something about my wayward relative before. Were you talking about Arya? Oh, I'm terribly sorry if I offended you. But I'm sure it must pain you to see the way that she's been acting lately. Yes, it's been extremely hard. Do you know that she even interrogated me about the murder yesterday? Can you believe it? A Theowind running around a crime scene like a common knight. Why, if I had tried something like that, my father would disown me. Honestly, she probably thinks she can do anything just because of her betrothed. Ooh. Ooh. You have an arcane construct in your room. I thought they only had them in the library and the locker room. This construct was a gift from House Von Sanctus. I have to say, they're quite convenient to have around. They look really cool, and maybe I should get one. You should. A construct would be far more useful than this attendant of yours. Ooh ho ho! Unfortunately, there are still some issues with their intelligence. Their intelligence? There are issues when you give them complex commands. It might be easier to show you. Construct, please retrieve my textbooks and bring them here. Then cast Theowind Strike at this location. After that, retrieve some plates and set them out at this table. Acknowledged. What? Wait, what happened? The construct obviously can't cast Theowind Strike, so my second command was impossible to carry out. But did you notice something else? It didn't continue on to the next command? Ignored your third command, too. Correct, my third command was possible to carry out. So why did it ignore that command? Constructs execute a series of commands in the order they are given, but let's say one of those tasks are impossible to complete. When the construct gets to that task, it would deem this entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it would stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in a series of commands is impossible, then that command will interrupt this sequence of commands. Exactly. Oh boy. Lady, Steelwind. I'm afraid we must leave now if we want to make our next engagement. Oh, right. Let's go, servant. Oh, leaving already? It was a pleasure talking to you. Yes, sure. Hope to see you around. Imagine Celeste is so happy. So happy to have talked to that lady. Are you sure you didn't want to talk to her more? You were getting a lot out of her. You already got a lot of useful information out of her. The more time you spend with her, the more likely she is to see through our ruse. Right. So, why Steelwind? I don't know. I panicked. Alright is like the only noble I know. What about Pierce? I'm not using that creep's name. Yeah, especially since he killed your dad. Well, hopefully Steelwind doesn't mind us borrowing her name. We got her statement on what she saw that day. And there's also what she said about the rapier. I bet she was lying when she said it was stolen. No. She's probably trying to establish an alibi. I'm not so sure. Why do you say that? Does it feel too obvious? If she was lying about the rapier being stolen, that would imply that she planned all of this in advance. But if she had to choose a murder weapon, why would she choose something that literally has her name on it? I understand that the murder was a spur-of-the-moment decision. She might have just used something nearby in this case. But if this was a premeditated murder committed by Miriam, that rapier would be the last weapon she would choose. Especially since it belongs to her family. Right, I guess that makes sense. There's also the evidence of an academic dishonesty. It doesn't match up with what we've heard from Miriam. You mean all that stuff about working with the crown prince? She's probably just making things up to look good in front of me. I have an insight when it comes to things like this. Under normal circumstances, I can usually tell when someone is lying. Elias Granio says that would be something I could definitely see through. In other words, maybe the stuff about where was this found? Wasn't this found on the victim's body? Huh. Just because it's found in the victim's body, though, doesn't mean that it's real. Well, I guess I trust your insight. But what does this mean? I don't know. She's being framed. Even with everything we found, I'm still not sure who the real culprit is. At the very least, I think we should still try to pull Miriam onto the stand. If she testifies in court, I might be able to find something I can use. Either way, it's getting late. We'll probably have to turn in soon. Yeah. Hmm. 2-5. Court is now resumed for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. Let's review the proceedings from yesterday. It was revealed that the trace of necromancy may not have been left by the defendant. It may have been left by a witness who used necromancy to attempt to heal the victim. However, the victim was seen by witnesses well after her time of death. This can only be explained by the defendant using necromancy to animate the victim's body. This leaves the question, where did the murder take place? So we first have to prove that that wasn't actually her dead body that we saw, and then we have to prove another possible person who could have been the murderer, but we're going to make it look like it's Frigga, though actually the game's going to make it look like it's Frigga a little bit, even though it's already given us the option, no, the vibe will say that Frigga is not as completely guilty as we may think it is, so and eventually it's going to lead back to the headmaster. Does the prosecution have an answer for this? Based on the testimonies of several witnesses, it's very likely the murder took place in the library. Interesting. What led you to this conclusion, Miss Steelwind? First, I'd like to remind the court where the victim was sighted before the body was found. It began when the victim had a meeting with the headmaster near the center of the building. This brings us to the statement of the next witness, a student at the academy. The student saw the victim walking in the hallways. Was she dead at that point? He had a full-on conversation. No. Hold on. God damn it. I hate when I do this and it goes on the client already. Wait. There are multiple witnesses, including us, that witnessed her. I remember her specifically when we met the victim. She was all like huffy and puffy and being like, I'm gonna go talk to the headmaster. That's what I'm looking for, to talk to him about shit, right? We met her at the library to talk about that. He had a meeting with her before then. So the story is supposedly the same, that she had a meeting with him at 12, went to the library, and then decided to go back to talk to him again. Because I distinctly remember that she was like, I'm off to go talk to the headmaster because he, what's the word I'm looking for? What, you don't agree with something. I say disagreed. Well, for now, disagreed with the idea of us being there. Like us, especially Ruby Time More, being into the school. And they're like, oh, why don't you go talk to the headmaster? It's like, oh, like the headmaster gave us permission. It's like, I'm gonna go talk to the headmaster right now about this, right? Because I'm at a meeting with him anyway, or something. Or are they trying to say that her talking to the headmaster was part of a second meeting? That time is accounted around 1 p.m. Hold on, I missed a line also. Okay. The other witness discovered the body, which was when Valentina Lannis contacted security. As we've already established, the event occurred at 3:04 p.m., but the significance of this time is what occurred before the body was discovered. A second witness, a member of the cleaning staff, spotted the victim in the West Wing hallway. This means that this encounter must have happened no later than 2:30 p.m. And this implies the victim was near the library between 1 and 2:30 p.m. According to the defendant's statements, he was in the library during this time period. Furthermore, the time of death was at 2:07 p.m. This means that Mr. Hughes saw the victim's animated body. Okay. 12 to 1, the meeting. 1 to that, but what are the hallways? 1 to 2, she was in the library. 2 to 2:30, then she's murdered. So you're saying that wait. She did mention the one to go talk to the headmaster. She specifically talked about that. So 1 to 2 o'clock is when we were there. AKA 1 to 2:30 or whatever was when we were in the library. So the beginning of this case. See, your deduction certainly tracks, Miss Steelwind. What do you have to say in your defense, Mr. Cuthbert? The prosecution's argument is definitely well thought out, Your Honor. However, it is entirely predicated on the testimonies of all the witnesses involved. Oh, she's not going to be happy. Your Honor, to test the validity of these claims, the defense will let both of these witnesses to testify. Defense calls for. Oh, he actually said the name too! I thought he was gonna be like, oh, this has been the first witness. So he literally calls her out on fucking Nick. The badonging balls on this guy. Holy shit. Okay, defense calls Miriam Frigga to the stand. Steelwind not gonna be. I'm gonna guess and say Steelwind is gonna be unpleased. Frigga? I had a feeling it would come to this. Yep. Okay, at least she knew. Do you have any objections, Miss Steelwind? I do not, Your Honor. Because she's like, you know what? This is not my problem. I'm a fucking noble. Even if they don't like me, I'm a fucking noble. Even if the noble family doesn't like me, any noble families don't like me because of what I'm doing, I'm a fucking noble. If you want to put this fucking walking nuke on the stand, that's your problem. You do this. Very well. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frigga to the stand. Ooh, and Lady Frigga's gonna be so upset. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... You little snakes. How dare you deceive me? Uh-oh. Looks like she found out. I had the opportunity to debrief the witness beforehand. Miss McCoy, for the record, I told you exercise discretion. I did not mention that you should impersonate a member of my family. Yeah, sorry about that. I gave you all of the tea that I imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. I demand that you return it to me. No, you gave them to me. They're legally mine now. I'm not sure what your business with the witness is, Miss McCoy, but I ask that you please handle your personal disputes outside of the courtroom. Anyways, Miriam, could you please testify to the court about your encounter with the victim? Very well. First testimony of the day. I was working on a research project in my dorm room when I decided to take a break. I left my room and went on a walk. That's when I saw Professor Fairweather exiting the headmaster's office. She was walking in my direction, so I greeted her and she responded in kind. After that, she headed towards the library. A short time after that, I went back to my room and continued my work. Okay, I see, so it was only a brief encounter. However brief it was, the witness's testimony verifies two things. One is that Miss Frigga saw the professor exiting the headmaster's office. The other is that she witnessed the victim head toward the library. This gives us a rough timeline of where the victim was before her death. That does seem consistent. We did T-Bill into the library, unless you mean at that time of the day. Huh. Wait. What? Okay, hold on. Oh. Everything, when we first came, was shown at the library and we met him, her, and... Oh, wait. When you met these three, that wasn't at 12 to 1. That wasn't here. That was before then. She was off to have a meeting, so that would have been, let's say, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. or something. And then she went off to have the meeting, and then we were in the library. We were still 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 in the library. And then we were in the library here too. And then at 3 p.m. when the body was discovered, because the call made, I forgot what the time the call was made. Whatever time the call was made, that was when, we were like, oh shit, the library is locked down. So all of this period, I was confused. I thought that we were in the library only from this point onwards or something. No, all of this stuff happened after we first met the victim, when she was still alive. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay. Okay. Did anything seem off about her? No, but it was a very short encounter. It's not as if we stopped to have a conversation. You said that you greeted her and she responded. What words did she use? Why is that important? Miss Frigga, it's possible that someone used illusion magic that day. Every detail about the victim's interactions could be important. Well, I bid her good morning. And she said good morning in response. I doubt that. Did you see her enter the library? I didn't, but there's not much else in that direction. From the testimony of Jane Hughes, we know that she later came from the library. But if she didn't enter the library, she was still in that area for more than an hour. Was this research project a part of your schoolwork? It was an independent study to develop a new conjuration spell formula. The project is being sponsored by the Crown Prince himself. I wasn't aware that he was involved in such a study. Of course you wouldn't. Did you expect to know every aspect of his life, dear Arya? Ooh. If we don't keep an eye on him, House Frigga might just steal him back from you. As if His Highness would allow himself with your rapacious family. The Clown Prince is her betrothed? Fiance? Lover? Well, I don't know. What's I say, lover? Our banking houses form the economic infrastructure of our kingdom. Perhaps he'll come to the Steel Winds if he needs a clear den of goblins. With all due respect, may you please focus on the matter at hand. Of course, Your Honor. And you're sure that you saw her exit the headmaster's office? Yes, I remember clearly. I was surprised that she was still meeting with the headmaster at all. Did you interact with the professor at all, Miriam? Oh, they changed it. Wait, good morning. It was noon. Objection! Miss Frigga, if I recall correctly, you have a habit of getting absorbed in your work. So much so that you even lose track of the time of day. Yes, but what does that have to do with my testimony? Early in today's proceedings, the prosecutor made the following argument. Miss Frigga, if you had said good morning to your professor, that would have been mistaken, because that encounter could have only happened during the afternoon. And your point is, you said it yourself, Mr. Cuthbert, the witness simply lost track of time. What the witness said isn't important here. It's what the victim said. The significance is what the professor said in response. She had just come out of a meeting that was scheduled for noon. She would be well aware that it was no longer morning. So why would she respond good morning? Wouldn't she have corrected the witness? The encounter was extremely short, and the victim's mind may have been preoccupied. She could have easily responded to the witness without thinking. I'm going to be honest, I kind of agree with her. Yeah, it's kind of a loose thread. It's not hard to believe that they were both confused about the time. Miss Frigga, if you hadn't been entirely truthful in your testimony, have you? That's absurd. What reason would I have to lie? Every detail about how she acted is important, Miss Frigga. What aren't you telling us? Mr. Cuthbert, you have no basis to accuse the witness of perjury. Yes, you will stop this at once. Miss Frigga, you're lying about how Miss Bellwether responded to your greeting, aren't you? Miss Frigga, is it possible that Bellwether's response was less than friendly? What do you care? What difference does it make? My job is to make sure every part of your testimony is truthful. Every detail matters, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Mr. Cuthbert, you will stop this or we'll find you in contempt. But they yelled at you, didn't she, Miss Frigga? What if she did? I mean... I'm sorry, but there's no going back on what you just said. So, you do admit that she yelled at you. You impertinent little... Yes, I admit it. The professor didn't greet me back that day. Oh, good morning, Professor. Be quiet. Got him. Got him. That's the thing that she said to, Oh my god, how long has she been dead for? She said that shit to, what's his name? She said that shit to, Wallace when they were met. She's like, oh, be quiet. And she said that to, I think she said that to also Jan. The janitor. She yelled at me to be quiet, but until then we had always been nothing but courteous with each other. I don't know what got into her that day, but something put her in a foul mood. But that's it. Everything else I said was the truth. I did see her come out of the headmaster's office and walk towards the library. So is that all, Mr. Cuthbert? What do you mean, is that all? You badgered this witness, all so you can prove what exactly? The witness committed perjury. Come on now! The witness changed a small detail for testimony, a detail that's inconsequential to the case. It was clearly an act with no malicious intent. The witness saw the victim leave the headmaster's office and head toward the library. Do you have any concrete evidence to refute that, Mr. Cuthbert? No, I suppose I don't. Wait, is this really okay? At this rate, this will be the only chance you have to cross-examine her. I don't think she's lying anymore. I was really pushing my luck earlier. If I don't continue pressing her, the judge might actually charge me with contempt. The defense has no further questions for the witness, Miss Steelwind. Very well, Miriam. You are dismissed. Oh, a prosecutor friend's mad because we didn't go hard enough on the noble, but that's not our responsibility, now is it? Now, with that out of the way, what else do you have, Mr. Cuthbert? Steelwind, to test your theory, we must question every witness that saw the victim that day. With that said, the defense would like to call Jan Hughes to the stand. I hope you understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your entire case rests on the assumption that one of the witness accounts is incorrect. If your cross-examination of Mr. Hughes leads nowhere, then I hope you're ready to concede. Uh-oh. Bailiff, please begin, Mr. Hughes. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. Witness, name and occupation. Ah, right. My name is Jan Hughes. I'm on the cleaning staff of the academy. Mr. Hughes, please testify to the court about your encounters with the professor that day. Sure. I saw the professor when I was cleaning the West Wing hallways. It was about 20 to 30 minutes before the body was discovered. He walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. I heard she was undead when this happened. Pretty creepy if you ask me. After that, she went into the empty classroom. Well, that was straightforward. Come on, Jen, what are we supposed to do with that? I don't know. You guys, the lawyers. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. He's going to reveal that he said be quiet. How are you sure that it was 30 minutes before? I always check the time to make sure I'm on schedule. I was supposed to finish cleaning the halls by 3 p.m. What was the professor like, Mr. Hughes? Did anything else look off about her? I mean, yeah, she was an undead after all. That means to be proven. If you say so. Anyways, what was her demeanor like? She looked like she was in a bad mood. Either that or she was tired. But I guess she was just dead inside, literally. I believe you've forgotten a few details about what the professor did. Yeah? Sorry, it's hard to remember these things sometimes. Did you hear her make any sound? Oh, yeah. After she knocked over the vase, she yelled at me to be quiet. I didn't even say anything. That detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Hughes. Whatever you say, man. You know, the cool thing about this game is I can look at evidence without having it feel that I have to present it. Leave again. Did she interact with you at all? Oh, yeah. I didn't notice her at first, but accidentally got in her way. She shoved me to the side and kept walking forward. The detail could be extremely important. Please add to your testimony, Mr. Hughes. Whatever you say, man. Wait. Go back. Oh, let's read this actually. Hold on. That was important stuff. Not really important stuff, but The classroom, not exactly sure. Wasn't paying much attention to her. I think it was weird that she went in there with the funky smell. I can't think about anyone going there willingly. The mess is fake. Put a rancid smell in that room. Okay. Alright, go back. Give us a lot to work with. He tends to leave out details unless we directly ask him about it. I need to ask him the right questions. We could pull information out of him. Okay, go back. Okay. 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 And then... It cannot speak. I forgot about that. That's how I knew. That's also we knew. We'll say that's how we knew that it couldn't have been just an anime corpse thing. So, bam. We have solved the living dead. Mr. Hughes, you said Bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words? I think she yelled at me to be quiet. What? I thought it was weird. I didn't even say anything. But I know better than to talk back to her. That's the thing, Hughes. The prosecution's theory is as such. The professor was murdered in the library and was reanimated using animate corpse. With a quick illusion spell, no one would notice that she was undead. However, if what you saw was truly the undead Bellwether, how did she speak to you? Huh? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, it does. Mr. Hughes, undead can follow simple orders, but they don't have the intelligence to speak. Perhaps the witness was mistaken. No, I'm sure I heard her yell at me. I remember because that's what she said. What she said didn't make any sense. Exactly, he didn't say anything, but she still yelled at him to be quiet. I'm afraid I don't understand. We've already established that the victim was dead long before her encounter with Mr. Hughes. But if what he saw wasn't undead, what was it? It had to be an undead. What other explanation is there? Yep. Illusionary disguise. Yep. Yep. It would have been something that could have been transported by Bellwether's body unseen. Gee. Something that could recreate Bellwether's voice. What could have done that? Finally! Final fuckingly! That's it. You guys just got to the fucking race and I'm already leading in first place. Let's get this shit started. Do you have any answer for us, Mr. Cuthbert? What did the witness actually see? Your Honor, the witness didn't actually hear the dead victim speaking. What he actually heard was her voice being recreated using magic. Are you trying to say that her voice was recreated using a spell? Technically. Not a spell steal, and it's artificery, which, I mean, it's still magic, but whatever. And whoever the murderer is, they had a perfect piece of artificery available to them. One program with Catherine Bellwether's voice. You can't possibly mean, oh, I fucking am. That's right, Steelwind. What Mr. Hughes saw was an arcane construct. All of that shit last game. You think you could top me? You think you could beat me? I'm the goddamn ace attorney. Goddamn Mr. Terrific. An arcane construct. Think of it as a magically animated suit of armor, Your Honor. We ruled out such an possibility, hadn't we? Construct or not, no one could disguise themselves and carry the body into the classroom. A person wouldn't have to do it. But arcane constructs are a different thing entirely. Those suits of armor aren't extremely large. More importantly, they're hollow. Put a body in there. I see. That means that theoretically, someone could have placed the victim's body inside it. The arcane construct wouldn't just transport the body. With an illusionary disguise, it could also confuse and mislead anyone who saw it. Objection! That just solves our problem. I commend your deduction, Mr. Cuthbert. I would never have considered that possibility. It's certainly plausible, but what does this prove exactly? It proves that the body was animated using necromancy. My client isn't the murderer. The defendant is still capable of performing all the acts that you described. Are you sure about that? His compendium contains illusory disguise, after all. There were several students in this library that day. Any of them could have committed the murder. One might come to that conclusion if they didn't have one crucial piece of evidence. I'd like to present a new piece of evidence to the court. The sword? Blood. Is that? Yes, Your Honor. This is the murder weapon. She was saving that for the perfect moment, wasn't she? Well, this is perfect, because this is exactly what we need. The rapier was reported stolen by Miriam Frigga weeks before the murder, and during the investigation, it was finally found in the defendant's locker. Wait, he was clearly trying to use one of her possessions in a paltry attempt to frame her, why he even stole her locker's nameplate and placed it over his. We're basically back to square one, aren't we? Anyone could have told that Contract to do all those things. Contract transported the person's body, and someone used an illusion to make it look like her. They even used a pre-recorded voice to make the illusion more convincing, but only one person could have made a pre-recorded voice to change the voices in order to do so. Taps forehead. Oh, we put the person? Okay. Several memories fled back to you. Yep. Be quiet. So she was already dead at that point. Yep. 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 Oh. Wait. That's not the face that she was making when we had this in the memory before. We're remembering what she actually looked like. What the fuck? No, it can't be him. What is it, Tyrion? And she knew. Fucking Eris knew who it was. And she's just been playing around, just watching this all unfold like someone who likes to watch the battles of a play from the theater. Oh my god. Did you figure something out? I did. Yeah, he fucking is. Miss Dewey, earlier you said that my client could have orchestrated this entire ruse, but that's simply not true. How so? Anyone could have ordered the contract to carry out the victim's body. Yes, but not everyone can change what the contracts are able to say. Only one individual has the credentials for that. Theodore Redmond, headmaster of the Imperial Academy. And time for the final, for this case, boss. Wait, you're not serious, are you? You think the headmaster did all this? I don't want to believe it, but he's the only person who could have done it. That's completely ridiculous. Headmaster Redmond would never do something like this. Miss Dewey, there's one common element between each of the witnesses' encounters with Bellwether. It's what Bellwether said to them. She yelled at both of them to be quiet. Miriam Frigga was particularly surprised. He had a good relationship with the professor, but when greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her, almost as if the professor was responding indiscriminately, as in, that was her. And recall her encounter with Jan Hughes. The professor knocked over a vase and shouted at him to be quiet immediately after, even though he hadn't said anything, responding to the sound of the vase breaking. Now let me ask you this, Deerwind. Where did Bellwether come from before she encountered Miss Frigga and Mr. Hughes? Her meeting with the headmaster. Bring the guy in. Bring in the guy. It appears the defense truly means to indict Theodore Redmond. If so, we have no choice but to take a brief recess until he can be brought here. Man, we're gonna make the Noble family so fucking happy. The guy who's been helping out, supposedly, as far as we know, all the poor, non-magical, or just the riffraff who aren't even, nobility, and we're gonna charge him guilty for murder, which is just gonna help the Noble's case and putting arcane constructs into the school. Man, this is a fucked up case. There's no need. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's just speed this shit up. All right. He's already here. I'm sorry if I'm snapping so close to the mic. Fortunately for you, I'm already in a galley. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert, but do you think I am the one who committed this crime? Absolutely. I'm sorry, Mr. Redmond, but no matter how I look at it, everything I found points to you. No, there's no need to apologize. In fact, I should commend you on the length you're going to defend dear Wallace. The court appreciates your understanding, Mr. Redmond. Now then, clear the air, I suppose I should give my testimony on what happened that day. If he throws Wallace under the bus, then he's done. He's fucking done. That day, I had a meeting scheduled with the professor at noon. She showed up at the expected time and we discussed various administrative matters. Our meeting went on for an hour, after which she left to prepare for her next class. Despite our many disagreements, we still knew how to be civil with one another. After all, I had no reason to bear a personal grudge against her. Bullshit. Bullshit. I just can't see it. He seems like such a nice person. Is he really the person we're looking for? He has to be. No one else could have orchestrated this entire plot. What was this meeting for? Oh, nothing of note. We were meeting discussing her daily operations and duties within the academy. In an academy such as ours, it is beneficial to regularly communicate with the staff. Okay. So she showed up exactly 12 p.m. More or less, Captain Bellwether was many things, but she was never tardy. How long did this meeting last, Headmaster? So that means the professor left your office at 1 p.m. Yes, she was quite adamant about taking time to prepare her lesson plans. After hearing so much about her, I find that a little hard to believe. I could see why you'd say that, but despite everything, I was still her superior. She always remained professional when speaking with me. No. Really, even after the way she's acted towards the students and faculty, make no mistake, I've heard many complaints regarding her actions. I've had many conversations with her to try and correct her behavior, but at the end of the day, she was a remarkable professor, regardless of her lack of people skills. That's putting it lightly. Testimony pretty much matches what we know so far. I'm not entirely sure if he's lying or not, but at the very least, we know he was involved in the professor's murder. But why? Let's go to... Didn't we have something that said that, like, she's planning to, like, replace... Oh. There we go. There we go. Okay. Redmond, did you really hold no animosity toward Professor Bellwether? Of course not. I did have a strong opinions about her methods of teaching, but I always remained professional. We both did. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. In fact, I think you might have had a very good reason to murder the professor, considering that she was going to take your job. What? So you knew about that. I'm sorry, but I don't follow. Oh, I guess you didn't know that, huh? Looks like you didn't know the information. How was the professor going to take the headmaster's job? According to Miriam Frege, Professor Catherine Bellwether was currying favor with the noble families. In fact, there was a plan to oust Mr. Redmond and appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster of the academy. What? But in any case, I doubt that the headmaster had any idea of this until now. I'd like to remind the court of the witness's reaction just now. He said, "So you knew about that." His reaction was one of surprise. But he wasn't surprised by this information. He was surprised that I knew this information. That's... Please, dear Arya. I may be a fair old man. Oh, he got his eyes out. Mask, not, well, it's not really mask off. I mean, for this guy, it's not like he go like villainous mask off, because I mean, honestly, he ain't that much of a villain for killing this lady as far as we know. But, you know, I may be a fair old man, but I'm perfectly capable of defending myself. If you have an explanation, Mr. Redmond, then by all means, I'd love to hear it. Gladly. It is true that I knew about Frege's plot beforehand, but I'd only just learned about it. On the day of the murder, Professor told me about her plan. She was going to replace me as a headmaster and replace the staff with arcane constructs. Not a lie. At least not that part, not the lie part. Not the first part. Now you might say that this would have given me the perfect motive to murder the professor. However, the supposed murder weapon was stolen from Miss Frege. This happened weeks before the murder and my discovery of the professor's treachery. I had no knowledge of the plan before she told me. Therefore, I wouldn't have known to steal Miss Frege's weapon in an attempt to frame her. Are you satisfied now, Mr. Cuthbert? There's no way that the headmaster could have come up with this plan. If he really did do this, this means he stole the rapier too, right? Most likely. His alibi makes sense. He couldn't have planned this whole thing unless he knew about Bellwether's plans. That would mean he knew about this weeks ago. But how did he even find out? The best way to tell a convincing lie is to leave a lot of truths and only change one detail. Maybe Bellwether did tell him, but she actually told him weeks ago. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. No, the locker's already been presented in court, so I can't use that to be like, how did he know about the thing being sticking from the locker? Wait, hold on. No. No. So you only learned about it recently? Doesn't that seem a bit too convenient for you? It may appear that way, yes, but that must have been infuriated you. Your colleague betrayed you and you attempted to steal your job. I'm only human, of course I was taken aback. I've been headmaster of the Imperial Academy for decades. Wait, doesn't the same piece of evidence that we just presented said that he knew weeks ago? You think that Professor and the board would go behind on my back like that? Can I just present the same thing again? Objection! No? What? What? Okay, fine. Okay. With the professor dead, you won't have to worry about losing your job. At least not for a while. I suppose you're correct, but there are others who benefit too. The faculty staff is not aware of Frege's plot. With her plot delayed, they won't need to worry about properly losing their jobs either. Yep. That's the thought we had to think about. If we have him lose, then the noble family takes control of the oh boy. This is a hard case. We're gonna have to basically convince people that a headmaster is guilty, but that means that the school will be run by a bunch of elitist assholes. But if we don't do that, then that means an innocent boy goes to jail. The innocent boy goes to jail, or a bunch of innocent students get fucking just, abused by the elite, class. As a headmaster, you'd probably have the tools available to get into a room. Yes, I will admit that. The academy has a master key that can be used to enter each of the students' dorms. And yes, as headmaster, I would have access to that key. Then you had the perfect way to get into a room and steal the rapier undetected. I suppose I did. However, there's one flaw with your logic. It was my understanding that the Freakers wanted to keep this a secret until the very end. Why would Bearweather, of all people, tell you about her betrayal? I imagine she wanted to taunt me with that information. We've long had our disagreements, and looking back, she may have resented me for that. And at that point, there wasn't anything I could do to stop her. Really, I thought you and the professor were on good terms. I thought so too, but I suppose it was all a facade. She was just biding her time until she could take my position as headmaster. You had to have known about Bearweather's betrayal weeks ago. Right, the question is how to prove it. Wait, how about push press on this? Objection! What? No, still? According to Jan, Bearweather revealed this plan to the headmaster during a meeting a few weeks ago. I don't think we're gonna prove. I don't think we're gonna prove it with this. I want to, but we can't. This is evidence that's gonna be backed up by if we prove that happened weeks ago, but we can't prove that this happened weeks ago. Wait, no, hold on. Weeks ago, the headmaster performed a experiment because they're like, wow, we didn't expect him to make a mistake. What if we present? Objection! What read is this? Nope. Okay, then it's not. Okay. Why is it not this? Why is it not the testimony of Jan saying that Bearweather revealed this plan to the headmaster during a meeting a few weeks ago? Objection! Would it not be that? Do we have the sword? Yes, but there's nothing we can present there. That's true. Do we have something that proves that he knew? What do we have that we've gotten that he would have knowledge of? Well, shit. Okay. And it's not this.
Objection!
Oh, hold on.
Objection!
There we go. There we go. Right evidence, wrong statement. You said you didn't know about Bella's plot before yesterday. Do you still plan on standing behind that claim? Of course, I am, because it's the truth. I'm sorry, Redmond, but you really should close your doors during your meetings. What? Ooh, there's the mask off. It's true that, well, there's the break. We haven't reached the mask off, but that's the break. It's true that Bellwether revealed her plan to you during one of your meetings. In fact, Jane Hughes happened to overhear that same meeting, but he only overheard the part where the staff would be replaced. And that's the strangest part, Redmond. According to Mr. Hughes, this meeting occurred weeks ago. You can't accuse the headmaster of perjury based on a rumor. Everything you've just said is based on secondhand information. Mr. Hughes distinctly overheard that staff would be replaced with arcane constructs. That is too specific and too accurate to assume that he misheard a different conversation. The professor probably only revealed her plans for the arcane constructs. It still doesn't prove that he knew about her treachery beforehand. Professor Bellwether had no authority over the cleaning staff's employment. It wouldn't make sense for her just to reveal her plan for the arcane constructs. That would only make sense if he knew that Bellwether would be taking his job. So tell me one thing, Redmond. Why did you find the need to lie about this? Is it because you saw a need to protect yourself from my accusations? Redmond, I asked you a question. Did you murder Catherine Bellwether? Uh-oh! What a fine mess this is. The headmaster? So you truly plan on pushing this, are you? Yeah. Yeah, I am. Well, your thesis sounds promising, Mr. Cuthbert. Oh, flashbacks to fucking Turnabout Academy. But I believe your arguments could use a little work. Argument time! You think I killed Catherine Bellwether? Me? I'm an elderly man in his late 80s. I can barely walk, much less wield a rapier. But you and Bellwether weren't the only people in that room, were you? You need the arcane construct to carry Bellwether's body. That means the construct would have already been in your office. And with your privileges, you could easily program the construct to stab Bellwether for you. Even so, think about what would have transpired afterwards. Recall Miss Steelwind's timeline of the Bellwether witnesses. With your theory, the construct would have spent more than an hour in the library. Having it there would have risked my so-called ruse from being discovered. The timing to do some Miss Frigga's testimony is predicated on one thing. She saw Miss Bellwether exit your office after your meeting. However, if we assume that you're lying about when this meeting ended, your entire argument falls apart. Miss Frigga would have encountered Bellwether after her death at 2:01 p.m. Miss Frigga wouldn't have made a mistake like that. Miss Frigga thought it was morning when she saw Bellwether. She can't reliably tell the time. Then what about where the rapier was placed? If it really was the murder, then that would mean I planted the weapon in young Wallace's locker. Several of the students had lockers there that I had access to. Wallace is one of my prized students. If I had to frame anyone, he would be the last person I chose. You're right, Mr. Redmond. You wouldn't try to frame Wallace. You would try to frame Miriam Frege. It wouldn't have been the perfect act of revenge, wouldn't it? You murder your treacherous co-worker and frame the daughter of a family that helped her. I said that, and he got it mistaken because he read the wrong locker rooms. Red lockers. Yeah, wrong IDs. But something went wrong, didn't it, Redmond? The labels on Wallace's locker and Miriam's locker were switched. Anyone who saw that would have easily mixed them up. I am the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. I have records of all the students' lockers and where they're located. If I truly planned this, I would have known where Wallace's locker was. A simple change of labels wouldn't have led me to a careless mistake like that. No, but what if it was an Arcane construct did it? But it wasn't you, was it? Your Arcane construct was the one who planted the rapier in the locker. I bet you commanded it to place this rapier in the locker of Miriam Frega, but it saw the ID number of Wallace's locker and assumed it was Miriam's. This is... Mrs. Eowyn, say something. What? Mr. Cuthbert, your theory may be plausible, but there's no evidence to support it. Ha! There you go. Liver mask off there. That's right, you don't have any proof, do you? Saying that I could have committed the murder isn't the same as proving I did it. Your Arcane construct is still in the locker room where I planted the rapier, which is why you entered the locker room, because you wanted to get the Arcane construct back, because you knew that the evidence was still in the Arcane construct, because we have proven with the command log must be cleared regularly, which means we can look into and see the command log and seeing the commands given to that specific Arcane contract, and we'd have known that all that stuff have happened in the first place. All we have to do is take a look inside it and we'll see the blood inside. Is that so, Mr. Cuthbert? No, Mr. Cuthbert. I already checked the inside of the contract. It's not the blood. During the investigation, the interior was completely clean. The contract's primary function is to assist in clean, dear Tyrion. They have a function that allows them to clean themselves inside and out. Well, we can still look at his command history, right? Think about it, Mr. Cuthbert. Do you honestly think that the murderer would leave behind evidence like that? I'm sure that whoever orchestrated this plot, they ordered the contract to wipe its logs when it was finished. What? That's right, Mr. Cuthbert. Your case against me is theoretical at best, but I suppose I can still give you mugs for trying. No, that's totally what it is. Ha, it's unbecoming to clear like that, young Tyrion. Alright, here's what's gonna happen. Calling it now. We're gonna use the Eye of Horus, and then we're gonna prove the fact that he was trying to get into the locker room to get access to the thing, because no, he didn't have time to clear the command lockers because there's been a lockdown, which means he didn't have access to be able to do so in the first place. And he's been busy this whole time. We've proven already 100% wasn't allowed anyone in key areas of the academy, right? Areas of the academy. So she wasn't letting anyone into the locker room. So she wasn't letting even him into the locker room. We've proven that this thing is inactive in the locker room. We've seen him in the locker room with our boy, Oren Might, right? He was like, I need to get something out of here. And then Oren was like, no, right? But that's the key thing. You think that he would make a mistake. We're going off of the idea, which is unusual because in Ace Attorney games, usually we don't at the point where they could have messed up that way. Usually it's just they mess up some other way, but now we're proving that no, our theory is right because you did actually not cover your tracks.
Naught can remain concealed.
I know exactly what we got him on. But there has to be something he forgot to get rid of. Should have been there if it followed my orders. Matter, I wiped its logs. They have nothing on me. I'm about to give this now. Construct's orders were clear. Plant the body in Lecture Hall 2B, and then plant the evidence in Frega's locker. We were supposed to head to the storage room afterward. What happened? Vega, you're actually useful for something. Thank you for telling us about the logic that comes behind an arcane construct. We wouldn't have solved this case without you. So something happened in the second case that let it not be able to do something. What stopped it from getting into the locker room? Oh my god. He played himself. Ain't no way. Did he actually play himself? Oh, he played himself. Get fucked. Your lockdown system prevented you from able to actually clear the evidence completely. So the lockdown before the contract was finished in the locker room. If that's right. The series of commands would have been interrupted. Wait a minute. Yep. Contract's fought a command was to wipe its memory. Oh my god. Clutch. But if its orders were interrupted by the lockdown, then I was right. Just check the memory of the inactive arcane construct in the locker room. Miss Deerwind, I have nothing more to ask this witness. What? You're not giving up, are you? Do you even have to ask? Yeah, I thought so. But how are you going to prove he did it if he's not testifying? Don't worry, the next witness's testimony will be all I need. Next witness? That look on your face isn't one of defeat, just what are you planning? Ha, it's nothing but desperate bravado. Now, if you'll excuse me. You've let your quarry get away, Mr. Cuthbert. Hope you know what you're doing. I do, Miss Steelwind. First, I'd like to put the Inquisition to bring the arcane construct in the Academy's locker room. We've already established that the murderer could have wiped its history. Please, just humor me for a second, Miss Steelwind. Very well. Bailiff, please relay Mr. Cuthbert's request to Commander White. Well, here's your construct. Hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Cuthbert. Construct. What are your orders? Please recite your command history. Reporting. Command 1, stand by in Headmaster's office. Command 2, await vocal signal, attack from Theodore Redmond. Oh! Command 3, treat Catherine Bellwether as a hostile entity and neutralize. Construct, wipe your hole. The huddle. Nice. Miss Deerwind. Excuse the interruption. Please continue. Command 4. Await vocal signal. Leave from Theodore Redmond. Command 5. Move to classroom 2B. Reply to any inquiries with voice line number 3. Command 6. Catherine Bellwether from interior. Remove Catherine Bellwether from interior frame and place on floor. Thank you, Construct. You can stop now. I think we all know the rest. But just to be clear, who gave you the series of commands? Commands were provided by Headmaster Theodore Redmond. Remember, people, we robots never lie. It's the internet. No one ever lies. How? How? I order the construct to wipe its command history. Mr. Redmond, constructs don't follow the same logic that humans do. They're prone to error when the commands are impossible to execute. Impossible? In what way were my commands impossible? You were the one that made it impossible. You activated the lockdown system. A lockdown. The body was found earlier than you'd like. You had no choice but to immediately activate the lockdown system when it was reported. However, the construct was still in the locker room when you did this, so that's why it was there. The construct finished its task in the locker room, but when it tried to follow your next command, it tried to move to the storage room, but it was prevented from doing so. Completion of the command was impossible, so the series of commands was stopped before it was wiped its history. You little... Theodore Redmond, you ordered your contract to murder Catherine Bellwether. Then you had it place the murder weapon in a locker to frame Miriam Frege, and we have your contract's testimony to prove it. I pegged you 15 minutes into this fucking case, Headmaster. Your ass is grass. 20 minutes. And that's checkmate. Bro, I beat you at checkmate and you're playing fucking checkers. I can't believe it. How could you do something like this, Headmaster? For the students? For the faculty? For the fact that this woman was a grade A bitch? And also, possibly that maybe this is not actually related to Miriam Frege, or maybe he used this to try and get her in trouble. She was going to take everything from me. My position, my academy, my students, everything would be gone. It was going to be stolen by her and the Freges. Yeah, okay. Yep. Why didn't you say anything to me? I could have done what? Don't you dare stand there and act ignorant, Lady Steelwind. Do you think the Freges acted alone? Your father was a part of this plot too. Uh-oh. What? I have nothing to say to you. I thought you were different. I listened to your lies about societal reform. In the end, you were just like the rest of the aristocracy. Oh, that's gotta hurt to hear. By the scared lord, what have I done? I was even willing to sacrifice poor Wallace. I can't believe why did I listen to... He was the instigator! He was the instigator! She is the person that they were talking about earlier. The person who's mind controlling everyone. Oh, poor Theodore Redmond. Unfortunately, you just happened to talk to the wrong person. If she even is human. It appears we have a full confession. The court sees no reason to prolong this any further. Bailiff, please exert the witness to a holding cell. She's good. That Eris is really good at covering her tracks. Well, then we'll get her at some point. Mr. Cuthbert, you really did it. It feels amazing, right? Like a big weight being lifted from your shoulders. It does, but I can't believe the headmaster was the one who did this. I'm sorry, I'm sure this bittersweet for you. What am I going to do now? Headmaster Redmond was the only reason I could even attend the academy. With him gone. Come on, don't think like that. You got acquitted. I'm sure it'll all work out. Hey, don't you get all sad on me too. Sorry, I was just thinking. With Redmond gone, the Freges will probably just appoint another sycophant as the headmaster. Valentina, Valerie, and Jan are all going to lose their jobs. Come on, you found the truth and you put a murder behind bars. Yeah, but we may have helped close a damn school. You saved Wallace. She's right. At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. You should be proud of yourself for that. I suppose you're right. Maybe I am just overthinking things. Now come on, I'm taking Wallace to that restaurant we went to last time. Do you remember how much that place cost? Don't worry, I have plenty of gold. Am I the only one on this team not making any gold? Why don't you meet us there, Celeste? I need to talk with Tyrion for a moment. Alright. Let's go, Wallace. Okay. You activated the Empowered Eye again, didn't you? I did. I didn't really have a choice. The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. That's twice now that you've used the Empowered Eye to get out of a tough spot. You can't keep relying on it if you want to grow as an attorney. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I will. One day, you'll find a witness that the Empowered Eye won't work on. It's worked for me this far, though. But I suppose you're right. I'll try to rely on it less next time. And that marked the end of another case in my career as a defense attorney. Another life saved and another murderer brought to justice. But I still couldn't shake this feeling of uneasiness. Was it guilt from what happened to the faculty staff? Or was it something else? Like we're forgetting someone. Man, Steven has been talking with the perp for hours. What's there even to even ask at this point? Turns out she doesn't trust his testimony. Something about his memories not matching up with the crime scene. You don't think he has mage blight, does he? No, it's not that. She found that damn symbol etched into his desk. Well, what did she call it? The purple mark? Oh, for the love of not this again. Look, if the little lady wants to change the boogeyman, just let her. At least this time, she's doing it personally instead of dragging us into it. Cast sleep. Hey, what's up with... Who did this to your desk? What has gotten into you? I already admitted to everything. What more could you possibly want from me? Where did this graffiti come from? What is the symbol? What is the purple mark? I don't know. A student must have done it at some point. Think very hard, headmaster. When did you receive this purple symbol? Focus on the moment you received this. Wait a minute. I remember it now. But how? Lady Steelwind? Lady Steelwind! Arya, what happened? Are you okay? That was close. My elation over meeting him almost made me forget. Eris, what are you doing here? But why? Wait, I remember now. It was you. You put those ideas into my mind. You are the one who told me to murder Fairweather. Oh, you humans never fail to amuse me. Yeah, she ain't human. I didn't make you do anything. Everything you did that day, all the planning, all the preparation, that came from your own minds. And I have to say, I was quite entertained with the schemes you came up with. Why, you even broke into Miriam's room. And didn't know you had it in you, old man. You maybe forget about our conversation, but how? Illusions can't affect the mind. Magic can't affect the mind. It's a shame though. I would have much rather if Wallace turned Wallace into the antagonist of this chapter. Could you imagine if he turned? It would have been spectacular. Armies of the undead running rampant in the streets. But alas, even I couldn't corrupt his poor soul. Answer me, who are you? What are you? Who am I? I'm the Lord of the Sixth Circle. Oh boy. Oh, Ted. You got fucked. Well, okay. Well, that's it for today. We have finished up another case of Attorney of the Arcane, which went on, I would say about 80%. God, I'm gonna sound so fucking arrogant when I say this, but about 80% what I expected to happen happened. Well, that was really arrogant of me to say. Oh well. Still, it's been fun. Even though I've been getting, figuring out, I mean, obviously, this is only the second case. It's probably gonna get harder, and I'm not gonna be able to tell how it's gonna be later on, but, I will say that it's been fun, and even though, as I said, I've been, figuring things out before the characters are, which can kind of be a little frustrating sometimes, it's actually, the mysteries are well thought out. There are good twists and the good turns. There's, especially now with the second case, it feels like they're, they know what they're doing. This is a proper, quote-unquote, inspired by Ace Attorney game, I would say. This is a proper attorney game. AA game. That's not Ace Attorney. We're gonna find someone to raid, though. Let's see who we're gonna say hi to. Who is live right now? You still streaming? Let me check. Yeah, you're still streaming. Let's go read our friend Arrows.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Alrighty. It's now the Tuesday. It's up in our Tuesday, Trial Tuesday stream. Monday we had a mystery Monday with Golden Idol. And then tomorrow, what else? Wednesday? What do we have? Wuwa? I think we're doing Wuthering Waves. Yeah. We're playing some Wuthering Waves. I don't know if I would. I probably could do some more of the story or do something. Some more side quests or something. It's a lot to do in that game. I've been falling very behind on it, though. I'm catching up a little bit. I'm still on like part 1 of that, I think. What my friends tell me. And then it's gonna be a later stream, which is unusual. But it's also because I don't work on Thursday, as I mentioned before. I do work on Friday, so Thursday it's gonna be an earlier stream at 5 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. And that is when we start Super Metroid and see how far we get through that. It's exciting because I tried that game out a while ago, but never get that far into Super Metroid, so this will be a good time to play through it. At least play through at least one full Metroid game before Prime 4 drops. Which I'm not gonna get on the release date. I'll probably wait a little bit. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying around, and bye.